This is the QTV Nightly News coming to you from our studios on Kairaba Avenue, and I am Jul Denjai. Thank you for joining us. Here are the main news headlines. As the country gears up to host delegations from 56 countries for the OIC Summit, the Q Group chairman officially hands over a fleet of luxury cars to President Adama Barrow for the exclusive use of high-level representatives coming for the summit. And the OIC Summit activities kicked off today with a two-day meeting comprising ambassadors and senior officials who will discuss the documents of this session and submit their report to the preparatory meeting of the Council of Foreign Ministers. The Gambia, through the Office of the Chief Justice of the Gambia, is hosting the meeting of the ECOWAS Judicial Council's subcommittee. And the Kanifing Municipal Council signed a $300 million project with Longjian Roads and Bridges Company Limited for the construction of feeder roads and drainage systems within the Kanifing municipality. And a 5-day forum to validate the final draft of the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan was held on Monday by the Gambia Maritime Administration and partners. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Thank you very much for staying with us. If you are just tuning in, this is QTV News with me, Jul Denjai, and now to our stories. As the country gears up to host delegations from 56 countries for the OIC Summit, the Q Group chairman officially hands over a fleet of luxury cars to President Adama Barrow for the exclusive use of high-level representatives coming for the summit. In what is described as one of the most successful public-private partnerships with the government, the Q Group pre-financed the vehicles and delivered them in record time. QTV's Momodu Lamin Choi reports.
The stage is set as the Gambia steps onto a global spotlight, ready to host what is highly anticipated to be a historic and successful OIC Summit. Part of that drive is what you are watching live on your screens, the handing over of a fleet of 89 vehicles that will be used by heads of states and other important guests for the summit. The procurement and official handing over of these luxurious vehicles mark another success of a public-private partnership between the Q Group and the Gambia government.
It will be very positive going forward. So we want everybody to be united so that we support each other to make sure we cheer for 3 years and not cheering alone, so that it will be a good legacy for all of us. And yourself, the government, president, we are all part of this. This is history for us. And we will have these records. One day, our children will talk about it. So it's a big achievement. Congratulations.
The process for the supply of these vehicles began late February this year when government launched a public tender which attracted 7 bidders. Some of the conditions in the tender required a successful bidder to pre-finance and deliver the vehicles within the shortest possible time ahead of the summit. In the first week of March, the Q Group, through Ajib Bank and Espas Motors, eventually became the successful bidder, and it subsequently purchased and shipped vehicles within an unprecedented time frame. Mohamed Jah is the chairman of the Q Group.
We knew that as Gambian company, we had to do something. So we pre-financed the whole project, and we got the vehicles on time because we feel that it's the small contribution we should do to the country and for the OIC. So, but then everything goes back to His Excellency and the government of the Gambia, and I think that we will have a successful summit. But we must really thank you, Your Excellency, for bringing the summit to Gambia. This is the first time government is tendering almost 100 vehicles. This is the biggest tender government has ever done, and it was able to meet the deadlines and follow GPPA procedure. So thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Gambia's hosting of the OIC Summit has taken government much efforts, including mobilization of local funds, to be fully prepared for the world's second largest intergovernmental convergence. The Vice President of the Gambia, Mohamed B.S. Jallo, underscores government's contribution towards getting the Gambia fully prepared to host the summit.
Many people thought that it's the OIC that is giving us funds. No, it's the government, through his leadership, the President, that directed the Minister of Finance to provide us with the resources. I think the CEO has mentioned it. More than 500 million has been spent on this. But we are all seeing the benefits. With the hotels that are coming, it is not only enable us to host this OIC, but we can host other meetings, AU meetings and other meetings. So
the CEO of the OIC Gambia Secretariat, Yankoba Diba, stated Gambia's full preparedness for a successful and memorable OIC summit. CEO Diba expresses a message of gratitude to the Q Group for offering support to the OIC Secretariat, including giving airtime and 1,000 SIM cards.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Thank you, Vice President, and all the cabinet ministers for the support that today we are able to say we are all proud of as Gambians. You keep telling us one thing. We are small, but we can prove that small nations can do big things. And I think today there is nobody in this world who can doubt that. Thank you for your leadership.
Also joining President Adama Barrow at this event is the Mayor of Banjul, Rohey Malick Lowe, and she talks about efforts among municipalities in Gambia's road towards the big event.
And we are grateful that from Banjul to KMC to West Coast to Basse, everybody, every local government is active to make sure that we also add our value to make it a success. I am not the president of the local government, of the organization of the local government, but I can tell you for sure that the president also is trying his best, Mohammed, to make sure that we all are active towards the success of this organization. I thank you all.
Proper accommodation, good roads, and fitting means of transporting the OIC guests are key in fulfilling the requirements for the hosting of the summit. For the Q Group, a Gambian-owned business, this is another proof of its capacity and resolute to support the Gambia at a time of need. Previously, the group won similar contracts from KMC and government and pre-financed the procurement of buses and waste trucks. The success of those contracts have helped improve urban transportation and waste management in the Kanifing municipality and across the country. Mahmoud Lamin, Choy QTV News.
And now still on OIC matters, the OIC Summit activities kicked off today with a two-day meeting comprising ambassadors and senior government officials who will discuss the documents of the session and submit their report to the preparatory meeting of the Council of Foreign Ministers. The 57 ministers of foreign affairs will in turn hold a preparatory meeting on the 2nd and the 3rd of May ahead of the summit on the 4th and the 5th of May. His Excellency, the Secretary General of the organization, Mr. Hussein Ibrahim Taha, arrived in Banjul accompanied by a high-level delegation from the organization's General Secretariat to participate in the work of the session. Today's event also featured the official handing over of the chairmanship to the Gambia. We will bring you a fuller report of the wrapping up on the 2nd and the final day of the senior officials meeting in our tomorrow's news bulletin. And now the Gambia, through the Office of the Chief Justice of the Gambia, is hosting the meeting of the ECOWAS Judicial Council's subcommittee responsible for examining its rule of procedure and all related matters to make it more effective and efficient. Aliou Cissé reports.
This meeting serves as a platform for regional collaboration and exchange of ideas aimed at advancing rule of law, promoting judicial independence, and enhancing access to justice within West Africa sub-region. Mandated to review the rules of procedure of and other laws relating to the ECOWAS Code of Justice and to make recommendations for the improvement of its operational efficiency, the Council's meeting provided an opportunity for participating Chief Justices to engage in a constructive dialogue, share best practices, and explore innovative approaches to addressing common challenges facing the administration of justice in the respective countries. Deputizing for the President of the ECOWAS Commission, Maître French, ECOWAS resident representative in the Gambia, said considering the role that the community court plays in the administration of justice in member states of ECOWAS, it is imperative that regular meetings of the ECOWAS Judicial Council be organized to address some fundamental issues affecting the effective and efficient operations of the community court.
The institutionalization of regular meetings of the Judicial Council to review and guide its operation is a bid to ensure that the court remains responsive to the needs in the sub-region. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, you may agree with me that the ECOWAS region is not lacking in matters requiring legal attention. Indeed, recently, the very issue of membership of the bloc has become itself a matter for discussion.
Justice Olukayode Ariwola, Chief Justice of Nigeria and Chairman of the ECOWAS Judicial Council, hopes the recommendations from this meeting will make the council more productive.
The ECOWAS Judicial Council, though not as widely known as some other bodies, plays a crucial role in maintaining the rule of law and justice within our region. Comprising eminent jurists from member states, the Judicial Council serves as the guardian of the rule of law and the protector of human rights within the region. In addition, the ECOWAS Judicial Council plays a crucial role in the resolution of disputes among member states, ensuring that conflicts are resolved peacefully and in accordance with the rule of law.
Justice Hassan B. Jallow, Chief Justice of the Gambia, said access to speedy and quality justice by ECOWAS citizens is no doubt an important element of the good governance to which the organization is committed. He advocates the need to continue to strengthen the Judicial Council in its mandate.
We should now be looking seriously at the possibility of the ECOWAS Court of Justice being not just a partner, but an actor in holding to account persons who commit international crimes within its territory. In short, we should consider vesting the ECOWAS Court of Justice with the jurisdiction for itself to prosecute all persons who commit serious international crimes.
This meeting in Banjul emanates from the meeting held in Abuja in February 2024, during which a 5-member committee was constituted comprising Benin, the Gambia, Ghana, Guinea-Bissau, and Sierra Leone to consider and submit recommendations to the General Council for the improvement of the rules of procedure of and the legal framework relating to the Council. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
The report by Aliou Cisse will take us to a commercial break. When we return, we have some more local and international news stories for you. Do stay tuned.
Judicial, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. Judicial's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. Judicial, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
The art of juggling is a true spectacle of agility, coordination, and speed. A symbol of progression, precision, and mastery. "5G speed is like having the juggler in your pocket. With lightning-fast download and upload speeds, you'll easily be able to juggle even the busiest workdays. Whether you're a busy entrepreneur, a creative, or just someone who wants to stay connected. Juggle your tasks with ease with Qcell 5G speed. The future is here. It's fast, reliable, and efficient. First brought to you by Qcell. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is QTV News with me, Jul Denjai, and now to the rest of our stories. The Kanifing Municipal Council signed a $300 million project with Longjian Roads and Bridges Company Limited on Monday for the construction of feeder roads and drainage systems within the Kanifing municipality. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Following a successful bidding process, Longjian Roads and Bridges Company Limited won the contract for the construction of the roads and drainage development projects in the Kanifing municipality. Pasat Sise, the CEO of Kanifing Municipal Council, highlights the importance of the projects.
The Kanifing Municipal Council Road Network Project represents a transformative initiative aimed at improving transportation, infrastructure, and fostering socio-economic development within our community.
Johnny Su, Chief Representative of the West Africa Regional Division, assures of quality service delivery for the people of KMC.
As a contractor for this project, and the promise I make today is I will never let you down. So we will try our best to fulfill our responsibility and provide a qualified project to the KMC.
Talib Ahmed Bensouda, Mayor of Kanifing Municipal Council, underscores the importance of building a good road network for KMC. Mayor Bensouda says the project was conceived after a survey reveals that the top priority of the people of KM is better roads and drainage system.
This tendering process was a public tender. Every contractor, every road constructor with the capability was allowed to compete. And Longjian Road and Bridge Company came out as the most competent as far as our bid was considered.
Mayor Bensouda further outlined the project sum.
In terms of road construction, 15.4, if I'm correct, yes, and 5.9 kilometers of drains. The specific drains and the community we have targeted as a council is the Bakau constituents. These are colonial drains that are dilapidated and are actually causing many sicknesses in that community. So as a municipality, it is our duty to ensure that people are safe and healthy. Project cost, which is about $300 million. It will be a pre-financing scheme for the council to pay over a period of 5 years.
Meanwhile, the Lord Mayor chaired a general council meeting and handed over the symbolic key of the city of Madison, Wisconsin in the United States of America, and the proclamation at the initial handing over. The KMC Mayor highlights some of the achievements registered under the KMC Madison partnership.
A lot of learning we did, and things such as the Mbalit project was modeled after a visit to the streets division of Madison in terms of how they ran their operations. The inspiration to build a library also was emanated from visiting the municipal library. And since then, we have had exchanges. Also, Madison TV, which is their television station, our K-TEB radio today, basically was inspired out of that.
The Kanifing municipality is among communities that experience flooding, especially during the rainy seasons. The roads and the drainage system projects, when completed, are meant to ease traffic congestion and the free movement of goods and services and mitigate flooding. For QTV News, I am Jul Denjai.
A 5-day forum to validate the final draft of the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan was held on Monday by the Gambia Maritime Administration, International Maritime Organization, and the Global Initiative for West and Central Africa. Mamadou Gajaga attended the event, and this is his report.
The final draft document is aimed at looking for ways of managing and mitigating risk of oil spillage disasters. 2 years ago, there was a heavy fuel oil spillage at a GAM petroleum depot in Mandinering. Surveillance discovered significant oil spillage worst up on the coast, resulting to a $1.7 million exercise to clear the spillage. This has prompted a rapid assessment by regulatory agencies, including inspectors from the Public Utility and Regulatory Authority, PURA, the National Environment Agency, and the Gambia Maritime Administration. Karamo Jane is the Director General of the Gambia Maritime Administration.
to this all-important national document, the first of its kind, through which the Gambia will fulfill one of its international obligations, International Convention on Oil Pollution, Preparedness, Response and Cooperation, OPRC, 1990. When this document is finalized, its effective implementation will also put the Gambia in a state of readiness against oil pollution incidents and thus mitigate the risk of oil pollution damage in the Gambia.
The National Disaster Management Agency, NDMA, is one of the lead agencies in terms of disaster relief efforts in the country. Modu Sise, Deputy Executive Director of the NDMA, says managing risk is far more effective than responding to disasters.
Considering the need for institutional capacity strengthening, the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan and Response will enhance the country's disaster coordination to reduce vulnerabilities to oil spills and reinforce the response capacity of institutions defining roles and responsibility on decision-making, response, coordination, and information for timely response to marine pollution at sea and offshore, as it is manifested in this document.
Mariama Fofana, a representative of the Ministry of Works, Transport and Infrastructure, says maritime disasters have far-reaching consequences and urge for collaboration to mitigate it.
This National Oil Spill Contingency Response Plan sets out the procedures and processes that will be followed in pollution preparedness, response and recovery prior to, during and after an oil pollution incident from multiple potential maritime and estuarine sources.
The Global Initiative for West and Central Africa, GWACAF, funded and gave technical support for the development of the final draft document. Ri Al-Amir is the project coordinator for GWACAF and represented the International Maritime Organization.
Over the next few days, the key objectives of this validation workshop are to go through the final document together, discuss on its content and structure, and identify any gaps. In that sense, we will review the outputs of the project and hope to collect your feedback. As a result of your work, this plan belongs to the Gambia. It is important for every national stakeholder to be familiar with its content and to own it.
Oil spills can happen at any place where oil is being extracted, transported, or stored. The magnitude of harm from an oil spill is determined by many factors, including the amount and type of oil, location, season, weather, and actions taken to clean up the spill. Momodu Gajaga, QTV News.
The report there by Momodu Gajaga will take us to news beyond our borders. And African heads of state convene in Nairobi for the International Development Association Summit with a focus on favorable lending terms and strategies to bolster sustainable development across the continent. Momodu Gajaga again.
The International Development Association, IDA, which was established in 1960 as part of the World Bank, is dedicated to combating poverty by providing grants and low-interest loans to support initiatives that promote economic growth, eliminate inequities, and improve living standards for people in developing countries. During the meeting in Nairobi, Kenyan President William Ruto emphasized the importance of IDA's quick and decisive intervention during crisis, highlighting its unique approach in comparison to other financing sources. Ruto complimented IDA's demand-driven programs and concessional loans, which allows borrowing countries to pursue long-term development strategies customized to their unique circumstances. With IDA disbursing a significant $18 billion to African countries in the previous year alone, African leaders recognized the organization's critical role in fostering continental development. Derek Re-Inaman, IDA's Director of Resource Mobilization, emphasized the organization's determination to increase its resource disposal efforts. Looking ahead to IDA 21, Re-Inaman expressed a desire for even greater ambition, recognizing both the grave challenges and immense prospects in Africa and beyond. IDA today has projects in 75 countries, 39 of which are African governments. This widespread presence indicates the organization's dedication to fulfilling the continent's diverse developmental needs. The summit provides an opportunity for African leaders to debate ways of optimizing the impact of IDA financing, ensuring that it is successfully used to drive long-term economic growth, alleviate poverty, and enhance the lives of millions of people across Africa. Momodu Gajaga, KTV News.
That story there by Momodu Gajaga brings us to the end of this bulletin. But before we go, here is a recap of the headlines. As the country gears up to host delegations from 56 countries for the OIC Summit, the Q Group chairman officially hands over a fleet of luxury vehicles to President Adama Barrow for the exclusive use of high-level representatives coming for the summit. The OIC Summit activities kicked off today with a two-day meeting comprising ambassadors and senior government officials who will discuss the documents of the session and submit their report to the preparatory meeting of the Council of Foreign Ministers. The Gambia, through the Office of the Chief Justice of the Gambia, is hosting the meeting of the ECOWAS Judicial Council's subcommittee. The Kanifing Municipal Council signed a $300 million project with Longian Roads and Bridges Company Limited for the construction of feeder roads and drainage systems within the Kanifing municipality. And a 5-day forum to validate the final draft of the National Oil Spill Contingency Plan was held on Monday by the Gambia Maritime Administration and partners. That's all we have for you in this edition of the Bulletin. Do join us again tomorrow at 8 p.m. for another news bulletin. Many thanks indeed for the pleasure of your company. Do have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.